the bungalow. Bungalow or dinosaur? Let's do bungalow. Hey Doc, you know I mentioned my folks? Well, I think it's time their bungalow met your pressure washer. It's so filthy, it's hard to tell where the ground ends and the house begins. When I mentioned you to Ma, her eyes lit up. Pops moaned and said the browner the porch, the warmer the torch. Which clearly means nothing, so he's overruled. Yeah, I was just gonna say, what does that mean? If you can give the place a good cleanup, I'm sure it'd give them both a lift. Power wash in a house. Power washing. Short extension. Sure, we'll do long. Do a 15 degree. Alright, where do we want to start here? Damn, this place is filthy. I guess we will start with the garage. It's a good point to enter in. Perhaps the front. You know what? We'll do front entryway to start. Dolores Miller, I'm so glad you're here. Calvin's such a good boy. He's a volcanologist, you know. I don't think I needed to know his life story. I'm here because you're paying me. I'm a captive audience once more. I can only imagine the amount of blue-collar workers and other professionals that are just like, please, this is my job. I don't want to chit-chat with you. I know that, one of my buddies that did waiting for a hot minute definitely was like, please just, if you're done eating, please just leave the restaurant. Don't shoot the shit for 2 hours at the table. We need the throughput. Like, the restaurant is nice and all, but you're not, like, our transaction is completed. We do not need you to, continue to linger. The whole business model is predicated on having good throughput. So it's important to maintain that. That's what he said to me, and I was like, you know what, this makes sense. The 1 week that I did do front of house at a restaurant before COVID hit. Great stuff. I went on a fishing trip. I told this story like a dozen times to a dozen different people now that I think about it. But I went on a fishing trip right as COVID lockdown began. Not on purpose, just like we went on the trip and then we came back and everybody said, oh, COVID is real, it's here, and we're locking down for it. I think a lot of people have checked out mentally since COVID, just due to so many different factors. Like, being locked in the house all day, pretty bad for the mental if you're not prepared. So many people got into so many different hobbies. I can only hope that a lot of them retained that hobby. Being locked away certainly forced us to evaluate the way that we were spending our time. It also certainly made me appreciate not working in office. I did a couple of different jobs in the past. One of them being like data entry for a home warranty company. And the only reason that I did that job as long as I did was because it let me work from home, which was real nice. I'm sure that job, I don't know if that job even exists still. I was told economic conditions are why we are letting you go. So I said, okay, I'll take my severance. I think they paid me 1 month's wage while letting me go, and then I got unemployment. And what's funny is that I was on unemployment. No, with that job, unemployment was not paying me more, actually. That was during COVID. During COVID, it was the most that I've ever earned financially. No, I was pretty damn close to that, but no. Now that I realize that job specifically is the one that I had earned the most at. And I earned $15 an hour. But it was in a state that minimum wage was, $7.25 or $7.50. I keep saying $7.25, but I think it is still $7.25. Okay, 1 second. I gotta check that. Federal minimum wage 2025. $7.25 per hour. State dependent. $7.25. It's a joke. That's a joke of a wage. A bad one at that. $7.25. It was no wonder I saw so many people start working at Amazon and be like, man, this sucks, but at least I can, like, pay my bills better. Certainly, a lot of them, not a lot of them. I heard a couple of people say it certainly beat working in food service. Which I would agree. Worked at a bagel shop for a hot minute, and I was like, damn. People are so specific and so stingy, too. Like, I'm selling freshly made bagels at like 2 p.m., and people are coming in and being so demanding. It's like, let's chill. Let's relax here. I'm toasting you a bagel with cream cheese. If I remember correctly, the place I worked also did their own cream cheese, but like, I never really saw how they did that. I did enjoy it though. Some damn good bagels. I did also get paid like $11 an hour at that one. Not a very good wage either, especially since the shifts were 3 hours long. It's like, come on. 3 hour shift? I spent more money getting to the job. Well, not more. I spent about as much money getting to the job as I ended up earning to it. Earning from it. That's what I mean to say. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild accumulating all of these different terrible, terrible jobs that took advantage of me and my labor. Told this story to a couple of people earlier that there was a place I was working while I was doing school, and I sorry, let me get the details oriented. I'd worked there for maybe 2 months, and I told them on the outset, like, hey, as soon as school starts, like, I'm gonna need to do part time. Like, that is how that's gonna need to go. And I had been on top of that job. I would get everything done by Tuesday, and then I would get the stuff for next week would get done on Monday and Tuesday. The rest of the week, I'd be checking my emails. I'd be checking in with my coworkers. I'd be like, hey, is there anything you need me to do? Any way I can help out? I think my coworkers liked me, aside from uh, me walking out when when I told my boss, hey, I want to remind you, school's starting back up, and I am gonna go back to part time. And they said, no, no, we gotta do a meeting about this. And the person in charge, ahead of my manager, called, like, we did the whole meeting thing, but he specifically was like, yeah, you're just gonna have to stay full time, essentially. And I was so mad because I'd very clearly communicated, hey, I'm not gonna be able to do full time. I'm going to be doing school, and school is my priority. I clearly communicated that to them in my interview, and I guess they were so desperate for another person that they just said, yeah, that'll work. Hope this person doesn't have a spine, I guess. And then I did that meeting. It was a staff appreciation day. It was a staff appreciation day, and we got pizza. And I said to myself, am I really gonna work somewhere that lies to me and tells me something as basic as, like, scheduling like that is not something that they can do? And I thought to myself, nah, I'm not working for that. And so I grabbed my pizza as soon as it showed up. I took 3 slices. A little rude of me, but you know, I was reasonably pissed, and it was also the office paying for it. So it's like, yeah, of course I'm gonna. Took 3 slices of pizza on the way out, and I decided when I got home, I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym. So I went after work. I'd been going to the gym, and I got 2 calls from my boss or my manager, and the first one was like, Mitchell, we can work things out. We can simply work things out. And then she sent me a text that was like, sorry, I'm laughing about it because I'm thinking about specifically what she said. I don't remember specifically, but the way she texted me was something along the lines of like, I completely understand not wanting to communicate or something. I think I filed for unemployment with that place too. I don't think I got it, simply because I got another job faster than unemployment payout would have been. But it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny just how, like, the tone shift, like, on the voicemail that they left me, specifically. Between the meeting from the meeting and the tone shift on that, I was like, you know what? I'm sorry for you, the person that has to deal with this, because like your life is very revolving around this stuff too. Very sorry, I should say very much revolving around this career path that you've chosen. When you're a manager, you're expected to give up your life and your energy for the sake of the company. And I could definitely see that with her. She was a hard worker. Which is one of the reasons that I started at the job in the first place. Like I could see that she was a leader, and I liked that. Then I realized that she was a leader of just awful conditions. Like not not like, oh, they have to be in a hot factory all day, kind of bad conditions, but like morale there was pretty low. People generally were just like, oh yeah, I do not care about I clock off and then I do not think about work until I have to be here tomorrow. Which I think is an incredibly healthy way to be working. Nobody wants to be oppressed. Nobody wants to have to struggle to pay bills. Nobody wants to spend their life working for other people only to get tossed away at the nearest and most convenient opportunity. People want something to work towards. People want a goal to work towards. If you give them a goal to work towards, they will, if they like it, if they appreciate it, if they value it, they will do a lot to make sure that those goals are met. They will they will burn themselves at both ends to make sure that this thing that they believe in is accomplished. Or at least that's what I believe. That's what I believe about human psychology. If you can convince somebody I mean, this is kind of what Tom Sawyer is about, in a way, or at least one of the messages of Tom Sawyer. Not the song by Rush. Yes, I know I keep bringing up Rush. But, like, if you can convince somebody that they want to do the labor, they'll do it happily. But you gotta convince them that they want to do it. And especially, like, wages are the most important way to do so. Ironic coming from me, an unemployed person streaming on Twitch, a subsidiary of Amazon. A place that continuously exploits their workers. I certainly intend to continue to purchase less from Amazon and just do less online shopping generally. And if I do buy it from the manufacturers firsthand, because like they already have all of the stuff. Sure, I'm paying retail 90% of the time, but like most of the things that I need to make myself happy in this life are not very space intensive. Like, been thinking about van life. You can't exactly carry around a big old desktop computer like this van life. I do have a laptop too. It was a very kind gift to me by my mother and father-in-law, and I appreciate that gift from them. That is probably what's gonna be the thing that I end up keeping around. I love my desktop, but it's not something that I could tote around easily. It's not exactly something made for van life. It's made to be hooked up to a grid with continuous power, continually drawing upon it. Hey, maybe I could use it as a space heater. That a lot of good that would do, though. I don't know. Maybe we can make it work. We'll see. I get the feeling I'm going to be selling old Theseus here. The rig. That's the name of the rig. Theseus. I think I have mostly... Not mostly. I think I have a couple of parts in here still from, like, some older builds. Essentially, reduce, reuse, recycle. Implemented in the most money-efficient way that I could. It's important. You gotta make sure that you're on top of your finances. In this wacky, wild world, you gotta be able to take care of what you're spending your money on. Vote with your wallet, as they say. There's only so much that we can do as individuals, but when enough of us get together, we are mighty. Isn't that what ants is about? Systematic oppression of ants? Except wait a second, we as people are we're the ants. We're the ones being systematically oppressed. Just generally speaking about, like, middle class America. Like, CEOs can do work from home. They can zoom in from anywhere. And they can do a whole lot, but as soon as that privilege, as they like to believe, as soon as that privilege begins to reach the common masses, they start yanking it away again. That was the one thing from COVID that I hoped would definitely stick around. Alas. It certainly feels like the thing that should stick around the longest from that, but who knows? We're dealing with a lot of, say, turmoil, generally. The future is always uncertain, but sometimes it's a little bit more predictable. The timeline that we have gone down, it's pretty wacky. We're doing techno-feudalism, I guess. It just makes me think more and more about Cyberpunk and, like, Shadowrun. Going sinless. your SIN, your SIN, your serial identification number, I think. Burning your government documents, essentially. Like, you hardcore becoming a member of the underbelly of the society. Which is a big bummer. Nobody likes to be ostracized. But when they're... That's what I should play next, actually. I should play the Shadowrun series. I need to do more 9 Souls, but Shadowrun... The Harebrained Schemes Shadowrun... Quality. Very quality video game, that one. Or video game series, I should say. Oh, I need to check what Harebrained Schemes is doing again. I saw that they had like a biopunk thing going on for one of their newer projects. That seems pretty cool. Let's just do everything within our reach first. Keep doing the walls too. Can I do another hour and a half? Probably. I may end up cutting it short by about half an hour. Just because I'm hungry. So we'll do another hour of this. Gotta readjust a little bit. I've been liking Power Washing Simulator. This will certainly be my, like, I don't know what else to play for a bit game. I will probably go back to Tyrant's... Sorry, what's it called? Tyrant's Realm. That's the one. I will certainly be playing more of it. I want to at least beat it a couple of times. It being the game, don't take me out of context. But yeah, I think that game's good. I need to be a little bit more patient with it. I'm used to poise destroying people all the time in Dark Souls. Just watching my gameplay back when I was doing some editing, I was like, ah, yes. I understand where I'm going wrong here. Need to address that mindset just from the outset. From the beginning of it all. Maybe next session we go into it. Maybe when Bazaar gets patched. Or we'll do like 2 hours of Power Washing Simulator next time. I don't know. I will definitely be playing more Bazaar when the next patch comes out, but until then, it's a little bit more up in the air. Because I like the game. I love an auto battler. And it has like so much potential. So much. I just don't like where the meta stands currently. If I can make it through dually monitor lizard meta though, that's probably... That's part of my problem, is the sunk cost fallacy. I've already put so much time and effort into this game already. I think that's part of my problem too, just generally with video games. I want a game that I can go back to as many times as I want. But that isn't necessarily actually the best game or the most replayable. What kind of games would I be looking for? What kind of experiences would I be looking for specifically? I mean, Nine Souls. Like, that's a for sure. That I want to beat that game. I just need to go. I need to do a little bit of research into where I need to go next and, like, remember where I am at all. I don't really like being somebody that has a guide open all the time. I like to explore, at least for my first playthrough or, like, until I get lost. That happens to me a lot. I tend to get pretty lost. Metroidvanias do that to you. They present you with huge maps. Also, I wish Nine Souls map were slightly different. I wish it worked in that it showed you, like, Symphony of the Night type map. Speaking of Metroidvanias, maybe I should do Symphony of the Night playthrough at some point too. I bought it on my phone recently, and I've never touched it. Well, not recently. I don't know when I bought it. Probably like 2022, because I saw it was on sale. I had some spare Google credits for the Play Store or something, probably. Or I just blew $10 on it. $10 for a game that I've never played before, that I've heard good things about. On the go. On the go is the most convenient. Like, I know that we're not supposed to be out gaming all the time. I know and understand that. But sometimes you need a little something to do on your phone. That's why I tried to get, like, Balatro. Maybe I should play more Balatro too. That game's real good. Even if I'm not the greatest at it. Excuse me. I was not fast enough on my mute button there. Whoops. I think I stifled out my second sneeze. I'm a two sneezer. Typically, at least. I've consumed the second sneeze. It's gone. It's gone. I ate it. Should probably try playing some more Isaac again, too. I keep meaning to get Dead God, but Tainted Lost really is a son of a bitch of a character. I'd done everything for Lost. I'm missing like 3 things for Tainted Lost. And it simply requires a lot more playing of the game to get lucky enough, and also have, like, the skill. I know that I have the muscle memory somewhere in there, but I'm gonna have to reacquire that again. I am not the same person that did all of the rest of the post-it notes. It's nice to be a 100% Andy when you're done, with the game and it doesn't have, 17,000 things. Update. I should see about doing a little bit of co-op Isaac too. I don't really have anybody that would do co-op Isaac with me unless it was online. I mean, it would. What am I saying? It was always going to be online. Like, I just don't. I don't have a whole lot of people I know that like Binding of Isaac enough to play it with me. I was always the single Isaac head in my friend group. Which is fine. Not everybody has to like everything. Not everybody has to have the exact same thoughts. We are all different. Part of art is interpreting it. And some people simply do not like art in the fashion that it is presented. Maybe I could be an art critic. Oh, that's funny. I don't have a portfolio. Maybe I should start leaving letterboxd reviews for stuff that I watch. Do the review. I'm definitely going to do that with story-based games that I do on this channel. We will be doing deeper delves once I complete a game, probably on like the credit screen. I will give my basic thoughts, and then I will see about maybe... I will probably either 100% a game, or I'll be like, this game did not interest me in such a way that I have no compulsion to do more of this content. Which is also fine. Again, not everything is for everybody. As long as you can accept that, no big deal. Man, these people are letting... What is this porch? It's like you spilled crude oil all over it. Like, what are you doing here, brother? I understand it's not been cleaned in a hot minute, but like... Ma keeps messaging me. They're getting really excited with how it's looking. Sounds like it's going great. Why are you messaging me about that? I know it's supposed to be encouragement, but I'm just like... I didn't need to know that. I simply didn't need to know that. Let me work. Best kind of jobs were just the jobs where they say, okay, here's your task, get it done. Or at least those were the tasks. Those were the jobs that I enjoyed the most. Being left to my own devices. Freedom from micromanaging. I hate having people sit over my shoulder and tell me what to do. Which is part of the reason that I'm like... I know I have backseating welcome as a tag on Twitch, but I also... There's a certain point where I just want to be like, oh, damn it, I messed up, and not get yelled at to be like, oh, you did it wrong. Like, I understand that that's part of having an audience, is being subject to the crowd. which is fine and works for me. But when the material becomes something for the audience to do more workshopping on than to actually like enjoy in its own right, that's where I think I'm gonna be done. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows? Next patch could be so good that I'm like, actually, I'm only a bizarre streamer now. I don't think I could do that, but you know, you got to think about alternate timelines. You got to address that not everything could have been this way. If is that the best way to describe that? Everything could be a little bit different. In just small and peculiar ways. Like, I think it was my spouse was talking to me about, I think it was Terry Pratchett with like one of the world building events that the person that invented the sandwich got killed or like never told anybody about it. So that world just didn't have sandwiches or something. I may be mistaken on where exactly that came from. I'm not here to be a Wikipedia article about everything. I'm here to enjoy myself. I'm here to entertain both myself and others, at least to the best that I can. Who knows? Video games, them and I have a good back and forth. I think part of it is that I need to do like dopamine cleansing. In the sense of like using my phone and social media less and like actually sitting down and reading a book and writing more. Because there's a certain point where you're just like, but I just want to keep doing nothing. Which is extremely counterproductive for like actually achieving goals. That's a lot of what I am about right now is I want to achieve some goals. I want to be I've been ticking off a lot of boxes for other people for a lot of my life. I want to tick off some boxes for just myself. I'm doing the, what is it, side questing? Is that what people call it? When you're like, I've seen that a couple of times from like people, rich people, I think, being like, yes, I've been side questing. I've been like, well, terminally online people, I should say. Terminally online, like Wall Street bets people, I guess. Then again, you should probably take most of what those people say with a grain of salt. Every now and then I look at Wall Street bets and I go, wow, sure am glad that I didn't become like that. Sure am glad that I invested my money in a really stupid way and it panned out. I don't think it's really done a whole lot of good for me in my life, like money in general. You know how it goes. The money is the root of all evil, or greed is the root of. It's not greed, it's money, but like avarice, the need for more. We simply don't need more. We are beyond that point. We have won nature. As humans, we are already side questing. Doing anything beyond trying to sustain ourselves is side questing in its own way. And I think that's important. It's important to keep in mind that at the end of the day, our main quest, keep our meters filled. Like Sims, just gotta keep those meters filled. Find fun. Eliminate boredom. Let's do some Sims tomorrow. Let's do Sims instead of Bazaar to start. I already have enough Bazaar content in the hopper, and I would like to diversify myself from just that niche. I'm also... What is today? The 3rd? It'll be the 4th tomorrow? Man, this month is gonna fly by, isn't it? It most certainly is, I'm sure of it. But yeah, I'm thinking about content. I'm thinking about what I want to be doing specifically. Because I enjoy what I'm doing here. I enjoy power washing. This one may end up getting reserved for if I need to just, like, sit down and do something with my hands and chat. Just talk. Open up my mouth. Let the words flow. Again, we're just experimenting. We're experimenting with everything. You know how dogs is and all that. What a crazy video. I quote that one all the time. You know how dogs is. It's a good video. I think the internet, in its own way, has brought us together a lot. I wouldn't say it's brought us together more than anything else, because it certainly divided us a lot as well. We are not made to be subject to every single person's opinion. We are community-based creatures. So gotta cultivate the communities that you hang out with, online and in person. Find people that respect you for you, and that want to be involved in your life, that are willing to assist you, and you assist them. I was thinking about this earlier. I've thought about this a couple of times actually. That money is just like... Money is essentially stored away goodwill. Like, it is just the idea that... Excuse me. It is the idea that you have done right by somebody nearby you, and therefore you are participating in Uh, Commerce. I mean, money is kind of integral to. It's the root of all evil, but it is also kind of integral to, like, having larger societies. Which we do certainly have. We do certainly have larger societies. How many people total were in the Roman Empire? Let's ask that question to Google. How many people lived in the Roman Empire at its height? An estimate population of 75 million. Average population density of about 20 people per square kilometer at its peak, with unusually high urbanization. I mean, they had methods through which cities could flow, could prosper. Sorry, getting my stuff back up. Can't leave that open. Yeah, 75 million people. That's a lot. How many people is that compared to now? Certainly a lot less. Because it's like all of Europe spreading into the Middle East, chunks of Africa. It was a big empire. There's a reason historians love the Roman Empire. Isn't it such a novel concept? A republic? I'll just let that one go. But yeah, like the Romans are 75 million. We have surpassed that by quite a bit. It does make me think, like, wow, I should definitely explore Europe at some point in my life. I would love it if I could experience the cultures out there. I'm unfortunately most certainly an American, simply due to circumstance. I was born in the USA, and it is very, very likely that I die in the USA. Well, at least in the Americas. Somewhere in that region is probably where I'll end up dying. But I don't really care. Death comes for us all. Let us embrace the beauty that is life. We're back to Memento Mori again. What am I thinking? But yeah, I would love to experience more culture. More culture outside of the limited scope that I have. Although America, like the United States specifically, each state has its own sort of shtick to some extent. You experience a lot of culture just going like town by town. I'm thinking about Altoona pizza. Not something that really does it for me, but hey, if you like it, I'm happy for you. You make do with what you have. That's what makes culture. It's what you do with what you have. That's what defines culture. That and like tradition. let's not let's not forget tradition too. If you convince enough people to do something, it does become tradition too. At least as long as enough people continue to do it. Sid really has wormed its way into my brain in a very strange way. Just like how much I appreciate culture and what creates culture. As long as we have had agriculture, we have had culture. We've most certainly had culture before that too. But like agriculture is where things really started to pop off for us as a species. Once we had agriculture, things kind of just developed. I was gonna say naturally, but I don't know. They've just sort of developed. I don't know if things, if done differently, humans would have been in a different position. Feels very strange to look back and be like, oh wow, 2,000 years of human culture, that's quite a lot. Wait, there's more than 2,000? At least that's how I feel. After 2,000, sorry, before 2,000 years, it's a long time. That's what, like 3 generations per 100 years? Minimum? Or like every 10 years would be considered a generation? 20,000 generations. 20,000. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that have died. We're we really are upon the shoulders of giants. Agriculture, like even just look at the last 100 years of like production. Things really went crazy when we decided to teach rocks how to think. Things will only continue to get crazier as we continue to do so. I wish to become more of an artiste as well. I know that homesteading is a hard job. Taking care of land, taking care of yourself, taking care of the people around you. It's important. It's all very important. And I believe that it gets prioritized. Ooh, big stretch. Sorry. What was I saying? Um, gets prioritized is what I trailed off on, but I can't quite remember what else I was on about. So, eh, must not have been important. One moment, let me respond to my spouse. We'll just continue along. I'm kind of rethinking my whole streaming strat, just generally. I feel like 5 days. Okay, apparently even Pops is out of his rocking chair now and having a look. Thanks, Calvin. I'm doing a great job, apparently. Thank you, thank you. Damn it, what was I saying? Oh well. Oh yeah, streaming schedule. I've been thinking about cutting it down to like 4 days a week. Giving myself more of an editing day, too. Just kind of focus on making sure all of the video content actually ends up coming out on YouTube. 4 days of, it's like 20 hours. I feel like 20 hours is a pretty reasonable amount of time to be streaming. I checked over my analytics over the last month, and I apparently streamed for like 90 hours from the end of, or beginning of December to, no, not the end of December to the end of January. 90 hours. It's a lot of time, especially when I want to be working on more different projects. Having streaming loom over me a little bit is a little. It's a little frightening. I need to work on my writing too. I'm not the greatest quality writer, and I would like to work on that so that I can finish a book. That's one of the goals that I would like to achieve before the end of my days. I wish to write a book, and I wish to start doing like video essay content. That'll probably end up being on a different channel, a little bit more disconnected from me and where I earn money. I don't know what I mean by that, actually. I think I'm thinking like, I just would like to have a dedicated YouTube channel for video essays that is not linked to my identity. Okay. Our outer walls are looking pretty good. Let's get this roof. It would just be nice to be able to be truly anonymous rather than be the person that you were online. That's kind of the joy of that, isn't it? Of anonymity. Anonymity is what I mean to say. Like, not that I don't care about. I obviously care about the ramifications of my actions and like the words and the messaging that I have. But I would like it if it weren't linked to uh, my identity. Simply because I don't like being observed. The anonymous what nature of it. Like, the internet really has prepared me for that. 69% completed on this job, by the way. Nice. Just trying to section off portions for myself. Just working slowly and surely. One moment. Anyways, I think I'm gonna see if I can finish up this house and then we will be calling the stream. I don't know how long that'll take, but who knows? I'm just kind of enjoying what I'm doing right now. I'll be able to say, job well done. For the fellow Homestar Runner nerds. That one's for you. Now that's something that I definitely remember watching a lot of growing up. Homestar Runner. Homestarrunner.com. Didn't those start as like children's books? Maybe I should write a children's book. Maybe that would be a good idea. Not as a way to, like, you know, reach children necessarily, but like to write for a younger audience. Show to myself that I am capable of writing in a manner that is not so let's say self-flating. Because I'm like 10 pages into writing the book that I want. And I don't want it to be like a novel. I don't want it to be a long piece. I want it to be like a 200-page max self-help book that somebody could pick up and be like, oh yeah, that sure is neat. Maybe I'll remember these strategies for the future. Then again, I feel like a lot of self-help literature ends up being self-flating. At least a little bit. Self-aggrandizement, saying, I have it all together. Listen to me. I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of lost skills. And so maybe we're like, probably not lost skills is the way. That is probably not the way to describe that one. But it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day minutia that you can lose sight of what really matters to you and what you like, what matters to you, the individual. What would you prefer to be doing? What would you prefer to be doing in a way that, like, enriches your life? Because we all have our dreams and the goals that we would like to follow up upon. Up upon? Follow upon. This world is a very cruel mistress. And by that I mean, like, modern society specifically is very cruel to ourselves. We're expected to... Yep. Oh, I don't know why I have hiccups. Pardon me. I don't know what we are truly expected to do. Outside of our labor. Other than, get confined into, like, a box. They want us, they being our corporate overlords, want us to work for 8 hours, get into a box for 5 minutes, and then be ready for another day. And that's just simply not sustainable. It is nearly impossible for us as humans to maintain that work ethic without just completely falling apart. We need rest time. We need our enrichment time, too. So I ask you, what is your enrichment time? What do you do to enrich yourself, to make you feel more human, more connected with yourself, more connected with who you truly are? Because I feel like we have a lot of societal expectations. We have a lot of expectations placed upon us by our parents, by our bosses. I just want people to be able to say, I don't expect to be the greatest. I want to live contentedly. I want to live closer to nature and closer with myself, to my nature. I think everybody should ask themselves the question of, am I happy with what I'm doing? Am I happy with what I'm doing, and am I happy with where I will end up X amount of time from now? 5 months, 6 months. I meant to say a month, not 5 months to start, but, a month, a week, a day, an hour. What do you want in that time frame? Check in with yourself. We're often taught to neglect our physical stature, physical form, that it is but a vessel for us to use and abuse, but I think it's easy to forget that we are our bodies to some extent. When we neglect them, when we mistreat them, we really lose out on the fullness of life. The benefits of what we do have. It's easy to neglect things when you have always had them, but have you thought about what you would do if you went without? Like, if, say, for example, you were to go blind. If you were without sight, how would your life change? What would be vastly different. And what would you try and do to keep yourself enriched in spite of such a change? I also, of course, mean no ill will or like negative messaging with what I'm saying. I'm just saying, um, appreciate what you have because some people do not have it and simply will never have it. We are we are all connected by the human spirit, and we should remember that. Our desire to enrich ourselves and to better our lives however we can. I think that's important. Two gutters? Uh, this one is clean. That one is not. Clean these out. There we go. There's one more down. I see check boxes to tick off, and I say, ooh, check boxes. Sign me up. Oh yeah, I also, speaking of check boxes, I said I wanted to try and speedrun again. Wanted to try and speedrun some survival horror. The true survival horror classic, probably Resident Evil. I will probably be doing the Steam remaster for that. Simply because that's what I own. It's what I've got. So yeah, I'll probably try that out soonish. We will see how far that ends up going. I will be practicing a lot of early tech, I guess. Probably gonna spend an afternoon just working on like the combat speedrun tech of like the grenade launcher canceling, as well as the shotgun canceling, and then a little bit of a wee bit of learning how to do stair skating, stair skating, Probably a little bit more of that. Refamiliarize myself with that stuff. Just learn to appreciate the art that is also speedrunning. Because if video games are art, which it is, and it's art that is handed back to the consumer as a way to show, like, we'll say, mechanical competence. And then I would say speedrunning is its own kind of art as well. You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from watching others. And it can also be beautiful watching others create that, or not necessarily create that, but like reinterpret the art in a way that shows mastery and competence. It's like, much like learning an instrument. Hi, cat. Much like learning an instrument, speedrunning is a form of mastery over the art. She's clawing the chair now. Are you good? Everything good, Miss Kitty? Are you upset? Are you angry? Are you going to end up climbing on my... Yep, there it goes. Hi, give me a kissy. Good cat, though. How are you? Kitty break time. Come lay down. Don't lay on the mouse, please. If you would kindly avoid doing that. Lay on down. Bonk. Big flop. Here you go, Missy. See? You're in a nice comfy position. Miss Green Eyes. Oh, what a cutie. Hang on. Cat cam. Miss Green Eyes. I love the kitty. Just lay on down and relax. I will give you more pets momentarily. I did say that I wanted to finish this house, and I'm coming up against the time that I would like to complete it by, so... Because I need to eat. I need to eat, and I need to also fold some laundry. I forgot to do that. I got distracted. Got distracted by a great many things. But, you know, that's modern life. Oh shoot, I had this thing that I needed to do. I ended up scrolling TikTok for 6 hours instead. Whoops. Try not to do that if you can. Scrolling TikTok for 6 hours sounds miserable, actually. Spending 6 hours doing that, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so bored. I'm so bored of scrolling through TikTok. Let me continue to... Let me continue to be bored while scrolling this app. It's an endless cycle. You overload on the dopamine, and it's hard to get away from it. You're just like, oh man, nothing else gives me the dopamine. It's like a... Oh, what's the phrase? What is the phrase, Mitchell? Can you remember it? I don't want to say Skinner box, but it is such an... It's the diminishing returns. It feels great for the first 5 minutes, and then you immediately get accustomed to it, and then you go, more slop, please. Hi, cat. Are you playing too? Are you patting the screen? Are you seeing all of the particle effects? Are you participating? Watching Power Washing Sim? Mwah. Thank you, cat. Are you asking to cuddle? Oh, okay, I'll give you more pets. Do you want some more pets? Yes. Good kitty cat. What's it? You want to lay on down? Bonk. Don't bite me, please. Do you want out? Here, I'll let you out. We love the kitty, so we try to give her lots and lots of enrichment activities where we can. I should probably do more enriching stuff for her, personally. I've fallen by the wayside on giving her treats more because the way that our cat system works, she gets confined a lot more, which I am pretty mildly upset about. Poor kitty is not even treated well in regards to the space that she is given, simply because the other cat is too territorial. A wild cat at heart, and refuses to, like, really work with our cat. Because other kitty is my sister-in-law's cat, and she just can't have the cat in their house, apparently. I'm not the one in charge of it, so I don't question it very much, but it is a little frustrating having the kitty that I am in charge of lose out on a lot of luxury. Or at least, like, space. Because I know how much she loved having her space. And now she doesn't really get that to the same extent. She's a cuddle bug. And she likes to spend time with people. But I definitely wish that I had more space for her. Thought about if she could have a leash. But she has FIV, so that makes it a lot more difficult, more interesting, I guess. Overcoming that. She's a pretty happy cat, though. In spite of everything, she's a pretty happy cat. She's got some of the biggest purrs in the tri-state area. Is that the phrase that people use? I'm not sure. It's a very East Coast thing. I've never really been an East Coaster. Grew up with the California mindset, I guess. I don't know what that would be. I don't know how I would fully describe what that means, but you know. I'm relaxed. Or at least I'm trying to be. Trying to cope with reality by accepting the things that I have done, the things I am capable of doing, the things I can change, and overcoming whatever adversity I can. Overcoming difficulty. Overcoming the trials of modern life. And how it feels like we are all on the hamster wheel for money. The necessities I've certainly become a lot more of a minimalist in the last little bit. I don't know if that's a Cali mindset thing, but I've learned that you don't really need a whole lot of equipment to get things done. And I'm not against working by hand in order to achieve the things that I want to. Even if my hands are weak and worse off than many other people's. I don't know. Something seems satisfying about that. I wish I'd considered like carpentry as an actual career path, but uh, nothing wrong with having multiple talents. Nothing wrong with learning how to work with your hands, even if you are not a professional. Learning at your own pace is also important. It doesn't really matter what anybody else shows you if it doesn't, if the methodology doesn't enrich you. If the entire time you think, ah man, this is not the way that would work for me, you gotta adjust for that. You should definitely use. Sorry, I thought I heard something. You should definitely use safety equipment, though. Safety equipment and goggles. I mean, PPE. That's the term that I'm looking for. Porch roof. What are we missing on the porch roof? Ah, yes, this section. All right. What a beautiful time lapse. Isn't it great seeing all of that work get done? Can I move this? No. Okay. Beautiful. The bungalow looks amazing, Doc. Thank you. You won't believe the impact it's had. Ma's down the woods picking flowers, and Pops is muttering excitedly about another job he's got for you. So if you hear from Leonard Miller, that'll be him. Okay. Well,